You think you've won? Aisha's voice sliced through the glittering Gala, her diamond chandelier earrings flashing like warning signals in the chandelier light. Miriam stood rooted, her simple linen dress a quiet rebellion against the sea of couture. As Dubai's elite turned to watch, their champagne flutes paused mid-sip. Khalid's pulse thundered. He'd hidden his billionaire empire to find a heart unswayed by wealth. But now, with Aisha's venom dripping like poison and Miriam's eyes blazing with defiance, his carefully woven lie was fraying. Would Miriam stand her ground? Or would this moment shatter everything, leaving his heart exposed to a room full of vultures? The souk of Dubai was a living tapestry, a chaotic symphony of hawkers shouting over mounds of saffron and dates, the air thick with oud, roasted coffee, and the distant purr of supercars weaving through chic Zayed Road. Khalid al-Mansouri glided through it, his usual bespoke thobe swapped for a faded kurta, its hem frayed to sell his story. His Patek Philippe sat locked in a safe in his Jumeirah villa, a 7-bedroom marvel with a private infinity pool overlooking the Gulf. To the world, he was Khalid, a humble accountant scraping by in a 1-bedroom in Al-Quoz, his beat-up Toyota Corolla parked among gleaming Lamborghinis. But beneath this disguise pulsed a secret. Khalid was the heir to Al-Mansouri Shipping, a global empire moving goods from Singapore to Southampton, his net worth whispered to be in the billions. At 32, Khalid was striking sharp cheekbones carved like desert dunes, dark eyes that held a quiet storm, and a smile that disarmed even the wary. In Dubai's high society, his name was a magnet, drawing women who saw not a man, but a lifestyle, private jets, Michelin-star dinners, and penthouses in the Burj Al Arab. He dated them all. Models, heiresses, influencers with curated lives and curated lies. Their laughter was rehearsed, their affection transactional. Gold diggers, he muttered to his childhood friend, Faisal, over a rack one night. I want someone who sees me, not my bank account. Faisal laughed, swirling his glass. Good luck in this city, Habibi. So Khalid hatched a plan. He'd pose as middle class, test the hearts of those who crossed his path, and find a love untainted by his fortune. His experiment kicked off at Café Rose, a chic spot in Al Bursha where influencers posed with oat milk lattes. Aisha, a statuesque beauty with 200,000 Instagram followers, was his first test. Her Prada sunglasses glinted as she sized him up, her smile faltering when he mentioned his accounting job at a mid-tier firm. Over coffee, he suggested splitting the bill, his voice casual but eyes keen. Aisha's manicured nails froze on her phone. Oh, I don't usually do that, she purred, her tone laced with disdain. A real man takes care of his date. Khalid paid, hiding a smirk, and they went on 2 more dates, a hole-in-the-wall shawarma joint, a sunset stroll along the marina where he pointedly avoided the yacht clubs. Each time, he insisted on 50-50. By the 3rd date, a suggestion of a picnic in Safa Park with homemade sandwiches, Aisha's replies dwindled. Her final text was a curt, busy, sorry, and then silence. Khalid sat in his villa's marble study, the city skyline mocking him through floor-to-ceiling windows, and felt the first pang of doubt. Then came Noor, a corporate lawyer whose elegance matched her ambition. She met him at a rooftop lounge, her Louboutins clicking as she recounted tales of closing deals in London and New York. Khalid played his role, driving her in his Toyota, its AC rattling like a death knell. This is charming, Noor said, her eyes lingering on the peeling dashboard. At dinner, a mid-range Lebanese spot, he suggested splitting the bill. Her laugh was a shard of ice. You're serious? I don't do 50-50, Khalid. She paid her share, her smile tight, and by dawn, her number was blocked. He drove home, the Burj Khalifa's glow taunting him, and wondered if Dubai's obsession with wealth had poisoned every heart. The months bled on, each date a variation of the same script. Layla, a fashion blogger, recoiled when he proposed a movie night at Vox Cinemas instead of a private yacht charter. You expect me to sit through a regular screening? She'd scoffed, her Chanel bag swinging as she left. Sarah, an art curator, vanished after he mentioned his rented flat, her interest evaporating like desert rain. Each rejection was a bruise, not to his ego but to his hope. The drama of his charade, watching women's masks slip, their charm curdling into contempt, felt like a high-stakes game he was losing. Faisal urged him to stop, to flaunt his Bugatti Veyron and his penthouse with its rooftop helipad. You're fighting a losing battle, Faisal said. But Khalid was stubborn. He wanted real even if it meant solitude. One sweltering evening, Khalid wandered into Aleph bookstore in Dara, a cramped haven of dusty tomes far from the glitz of downtown. He was leafing through a worn copy of Rumi's poetry when a voice broke his focus. Rumi? That's a rare choice here. He turned to find Mariam, a young woman with ink-stained fingers and a hijab slightly askew, clutching a dog-eared notebook. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity, her smile free of artifice. She was a cashier, her salary barely covering her shared flat in Dubai, but her passion for literature lit up the dim shop like a lantern. They talked until the store's shutters rattled down, swapping lines from Rumi and debating the soul of poetry. Mariam was a dreamer, saving for a master's in literature, her stories of her childhood in a Ras Al Khaimah village vivid with detail. Her father's tiny grocery store, the smell of fresh bread, the way stars looked brighter in the desert. When Khalid suggested tea at a street-side stall, she agreed with a grin. Over steaming karak chai, he tested her, proposing they split the bill. Mariam dug into her worn purse, pulling out a crumpled 10 dirham note. "Fair's fair," she said, her tone light. Khalid's heart stuttered, but he stayed guarded, waiting for the catch. Their dates were a tapestry of simplicity, walks along Jumeirah Beach where Mariam kicked off her sandals to chase waves, late-night falafel runs at Al Mala where she teased him for his clumsy Arabic slang, a visit to the Museum of the Future, where she'd scored discounted tickets through a coworker. She never pried about his job, never hinted at wanting more than his company. Instead, she shared her novel in progress, a tale of a girl defying tradition in a desert village, her words raw and alive. Khalid was enchanted, but suspicion lingered. Was she too perfect? Was she biding her time, waiting for a glimpse of wealth? The drama surged when Khalid's cousin, Omar, spotted them at a quirky cafe in Al Circle Avenue. Its walls splashed with graffiti art. Omar, a boisterous real estate mogul with a penchant for Rolexes and loud laughs, nearly shattered Khalid's facade. "What's this, Habibi? Slumming it with your secret billionaire life?" He boomed, clapping Khalid's shoulder. The cafe's hipster crowd glanced over, and Mariam's brow creased. Khalid laughed it off, shooting Omar a look that could cut steel, but the damage was done. Later, as they walked through the artsy district, Mariam's voice was quiet. "What did he mean, Khalid?" He brushed it off. "Omar's just a joker," but her eyes lingered, searching. The cracks widened. Mariam noticed things. His fluency in English, honed at Oxford. His casual mention of a rare Bordeaux he'd tried once. The way he navigated Dubai's elite venues with an ease no accountant should have. She didn't confront him, but her laughter grew softer, her glances sharper. One night, at a rooftop cafe overlooking the creek's shimmering waters, the dam broke. Mariam set down her chai, her eyes locking onto his. "Khalid, who are you really? I feel like I'm dating a shadow." Her voice trembled with hurt, not anger, and it pierced him. He could lie, keep the game alive, but her raw honesty undid him. Under the starlit sky, with dows gliding silently below, he confessed, the shipping empire, the villas, the private island off Abu Dhabi where he'd once hosted royalty. Mariam's face was a mask, unreadable. "Why hide it?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Did you think I'd chase your money?" Khalid admitted his fear, the parade of women who'd left when he played the middle-class card. Mariam's laugh was bittersweet, like the chai cooling between them. "I've been splitting bills since I was 16, Khalid. I don't need your wealth. I just wanted you." Her words were a balm, but doubt lingered in both their hearts. The plot thickened when Omar's gossip spread like wildfire through Dubai's social circles. Aisha and Noor resurfaced, their texts a syrupy mix of flattery and opportunism. Aisha sent a selfie from a yacht, captioned, "Missed you, let's reconnect." Noor invited him to a gala at the Armani Hotel, her message hinting at a new beginning. Khalid deleted them, but Mariam overheard a co-worker at the bookstore whispering about Khalid the billionaire. Jealousy flared. One night, as they shared kanafa under fairy lights at a Dara dessert shop, she snapped, "Are you with me to prove a point? To show you can slum it with a village girl?" Her eyes glistened, and Khalid felt his world tilt. He'd tested her, but now she was testing him. He fought to rebuild her trust, showing up at the bookstore with poems he'd written, their words echoing Rumi's longing. He took her to his villa, not to dazzle but to share its marble halls, the rooftop garden where jasmine bloomed, the library he'd filled with first editions. Mariam wandered, awestruck but quiet, her fingers trailing over a leather-bound copy of The 1001 Nights. Slowly she softened, but the true climax loomed at Khalid's annual charity gala held at the Atlantis, the Palm, its ballroom aglow with crystal chandeliers and 1,000 guests in bespoke finery. Khalid invited Mariam, insisting she come as herself, no borrowed gowns. She arrived in a simple emerald dress, her head high, her ink-stained hands a badge of her truth. Aisha and Noor were there, dripping in diamonds, their whispers venomous as they mocked her low-class roots. The tension peaked when Aisha, emboldened by champagne, cornered Mariam near the dessert table, her voice carrying across the hushed crowd. "You think you've won? He'll tire of your little sob story, village girl." The air crackled, every eye on them. Mariam's jaw tightened, but her voice was steel. "I don't need his money to feel like I've won. I have my heart, and that's enough." The room stilled, the weight of her words hanging like a verdict. Khalid, watching from the stage, felt his chest swell. He strode to her, taking her hand, and faced the crowd. "This is Mariam," he said, his voice clear. "The woman I love, not for what she has, but for who she is." Aisha's face crumpled, Noor's smile froze, and the karma was delicious. Their pursuit exposed as hollow, their masks shattered in front of Dubai's elite. The crowd erupted in applause, some genuine, some polite, but for Khalid, only Mariam's shy smile mattered. In the months that followed, they wove their lives together. Khalid funded her master's degree, not as a gesture, but because her dream of writing a novel burned brighter than any chandelier. She taught him to savor the small. Sunsets over the creek, shared plates of lucamat drizzled with date syrup, quiet nights reading poetry in her tiny flat. Their love was a bridge between worlds, built on trust forged through fire. Reflecting on his journey, Khalid saw the paradox of his wealth. It had been both shield and shackle, drawing suitors who loved his status, not his soul. The women who'd spurned his middle-class guise had done him a favor, sparing him from shallow tides. Mariam, with her worn notebooks and fearless heart, had shown him that love was not a transaction, but a shared leap into the unknown. In Dubai, a city draped in gold, she was his true fortune. Priceless not for her value, but for her courage to love him unmasked, to see the man behind the myth. And in that clarity, Khalid found not just love, but a home.